Djokovic.
Roland Garros 2023 has just wrapped up, and you might have thought with Rafael Nadal out of the draw, there might have been a new winner this year. However, as everyone probably expected, or most people probably thought, Novak Djokovic has won it, and thus won his 23rd Grand Slam. And I'm sure all the next-gen players / current-gen or lost-gen players must be looking at this tournament and thinking, it's surely going to be an did last year, and now he's probably looking at the calendar slam in 2023. Now, I'm sure many people must have thought that 2021 might have been his last opportunity to get it, considering how good next-geners were becoming and pushing Novak. But now it seems like no one can stop him. So let's take a look at this tournament as a whole and see how Djokovic made his way to the title. And before we continue with the video, 99% of you guys are not subscribed. So if you enjoy regular tennis content, do me a massive favour and hit that subscribe button. So his earlier rounds weren't that much of a test. As we saw, for example, against Fucsovics, he was struggling in the first set. It was quite close. However, when it went to a tiebreak, he was very clinical and didn't make any unforced errors. In fact, in the whole tournament, he didn't make a single unforced error in any of the tiebreaks and thus won 100% of the tiebreaks he played. But he was pushed slightly in some of the first sets, perhaps starting slow, maybe feeling the pressure like he was in 2021, for example. And against Fucsovics, as I just said, Alejandro Davidovich Fokina as well, 2 tiebreaks as well. He was pushed quite a lot. However, he managed to come through those in straight sets as well, which is kind of mind-blowing. And I think everyone knew before the tournament what match we all wanted to see, especially I wanted to see it. Alcaraz versus Djokovic in that semi-final. Of course, Alcaraz coming in red-hot form as he'd won Barcelona, had that random loss in Rome. However, Fabian was playing some lights-out tennis, probably the best tennis he's ever played, just playing without fear. So not many people put too much weight into that loss, but Alcaraz had won Madrid, Barcelona, and Djokovic seemed to be in quite poor form. So we thought, could this be Alcaraz's chance to take out Djokovic in a Grand Slam, especially since he did it in Madrid last year? However, after 2 very high-quality sets, as I'm sure many of you saw, he started cramping at the beginning of the third, and I'm sure everyone was stunned. The French crowd in Philippe Chatrier were very stunned because the crowd went silent after that. They were witnessing some of the highest quality tennis they've probably seen on Philippe Chatrier. The first 2 sets, despite Alcaraz being extremely nervous, was so high quality. Some of the shots where they were just ripping the ball to one another, the quality of both wings of their ground strokes was absolutely obscene. And Alcaraz started cramping. And as we saw afterwards, he said that it was down to nerves. Nick Kyrgios tweeted as well saying the historic match it could have been perhaps was weighing on Alcaraz's mind and that he was feeling nervous. But then Djokovic as well, you could say it's a testament to him being 16 years older than Alcaraz. He could be Alcaraz's father. And yeah, he was holding up better physically. And obviously, if it was down to the nerves, which it probably was, because Alcaraz has one of the best fitness and gas tanks on tour, that Djokovic just knows how to pace himself. He doesn't need to overexert himself in the first few sets. And he can handle the nerves because he's been in here so many times. Like, you think back to when was he feeling this kind of pressure? Like, in 2008, like 15 years ago when he beat Federer to win that Australian Open that year. That was probably like the first time he felt like a historic match that he could win. He was playing. So, yeah, so Djokovic, just his experience going through that semi-final, and obviously all of the earlier rounds as well, him just going into super solid Novak mode, just like not letting the opponent have anything off him and making them earn every single point. And thus, he wins his 23rd Grand Slam, passing Rafael Nadal for 22, and also cementing himself away from Roger Federer, the gap being 3 now. And I'm sure in 2009, when Federer won his 15th Grand Slam, and he passed Sampras, I'm not sure many people thought that the Grand Slam race would go into the 20s, but it has. And with Nadal maybe retiring at the end of 2024, we'll see how he recovers from his surgery that he had this year. Djokovic could really cement himself as potentially the greatest player of all time if he keeps winning these Grand Slams, because who's going to stop him at Wimbledon? Who's going to stop him? Kyrgios, the best, most focused version of Nick Kyrgios, could not stop Novak. And other players, other grass court specialists, couldn't stop him. You think of Berrettini in the 2021 final, played extremely well in that first set, but yet couldn't keep up the level. Or even a clay court specialist. For example, Davidovich Fokina pushed Novak 2 sets, lost those first 2 sets, couldn't keep it up in the third, lost the third set 6-2. You think, who is going to stop Novak on anything? And you would say that Alcaraz probably had the best chance to do it because he was playing some very lights-out tennis before. But it may take Alcaraz, you never know. A few more of these Grand Slams to soak in that pressure and learn how to deal with it. Like, the cramps directly correlated to the nerves, so you never know how he's going to react in future Grand Slams. But I do hope that he can figure that out. So Djokovic really could cement himself as one of the greatest players of all time. I'm sure many of his fans will say he is the greatest player of all time, but he's just further cementing how inhuman he is, how alien-like he is, just winning Grand Slams at 36. What a player he is. So, thank you so much for watching and listening. Don't forget to subscribe. Take care and peace.